asking you to reclaim your emotional power and give yourself permission to experience all emotions with equal expression. Her expertise in grounded emotion, voice expression, and self-permission brings deep revelation. With over 30 years experience, Terri is also a gifted mentor and life guide, helping people emerge from life crisis through a deep dive process which transforms lives and grounds people in their power and helps them find their voice. Please welcome Terri Mitchell.
One woman, fearless. What if that one woman is you? What if that fearless woman is you? And what if you have everything that you need deep inside of you already to be fearless right now? And there are going to be some of you today, and we've heard a lot of stories, that some of you may not know what it feels like to be fearful. Maybe you saw the words one woman and fearless and you just knew that's you. But for those of you not quite so sure, I want to speak to your heart. And I ask you, what would your world be like if you just knew you weren't going to be afraid anymore? How would you live your life differently? How would you show up if you just knew you're brave enough, courageous enough, and powerful enough right now? Because you see, you all do have all that you need deep inside of you right now to be fearless. Today I'm going to share with you 2 tools of fearlessness that you can apply in your own daily lives. But before we get started, I do want to ask you to do one thing for me. Or in fact, it's for you. I want you to take out pen and paper if you can, and I want you to write down your name. Just write the name that you prefer to be known by. And when you're done, I want you to add the letters I, U, M to the end. So write down your name that you prefer to be known by, and then add the letters I, U, M to the end. I just want a couple of people just to call out what they've written down. So what have you got there?
Lindsay.
Linsium?
Christinium.
Christinium?
Teresium.
Teresium, perfect, loving it. They're all fantastic. Ladies, congratulations, because what you've just created is your new core metal. It's your superheroine power source. And it embodies your core qualities. For example, my name is Terri. My core metal is Terrium. It's stronger than platinum, titanium and chromium. It empowers me with strength, toughness, resistance to breaking, the ability to withstand impact. I'm hammered stronger. And I'm recyclable. Because if I melt down, I just regenerate as a stronger version of myself. I am Terrium. I am forged, not born. I'm confident. I'm capable of asking for what I want without shame. I'm a better person than I was yesterday. I'm grounded in my strength. And I'm turning my fears into my fuel. And it wasn't always like that. At the age of 6, I watched my parents' marriage disintegrate in violence. And there were guns involved. From that time on, I was subjected to beatings, physical abuse, sexual interference from someone outside of the family, torment, bullying, poverty. The list is endless. It seemed to me that the only emotion that I was familiar with was fear. At the age of 13, I was suicidal. And at 17, I failed my first attempt. Then things started to change. I started making decisions. Granted, they were micro decisions. It's like, get out of bed, have a shower, eat something. But they were still decisions. Fast forward, and about 2 years ago, I was involved in a car accident. And it's left me with some residual mobility issues. At the moment, that situation is medically and legally unresolved. But I've resolved that I no longer want to be afraid. Well, fear, as we've heard today, fear is a choice to be confident. It doesn't mean you don't have fears. It means you choose to override those fears by being bold, confident, and grounded in your strength. But what's strength? We know it's not just physical. Ladies, we all know how to be strong, yes? Yeah. It's courage, it's resilience, it's your self-reliance, it's speaking up, it's standing up, it's being the one that others can rely on. But it's also knowing when something is just too much to bear. It's crying, admitting defeat, and asking for help. So when you call on your courage, your resilience, and your self-reliance, when you speak up for yourself and for others, when you stand up for yourself and for others, that's strength. That's fearless. My message today, own your voice, own your power, is a message about being fearless. And before I share with you what those two tools of fearlessness are, I want to ask you, how would your world be if you could speak up, be heard, be visible, be vulnerable, and be okay about your history? And what if you had the courage to say, no more, fear stops here? What if you could make decisions and choices that demonstrate that you are a force to be reckoned with? Now, I know some ladies may never feel that courage to speak up. Think about what you endure because you can't or you don't say something. Imagine your life if you had the courage and the confidence to own your voice and own your power. To own your voice and own your power. To own your voice is to be expressive, it's to be vocal, it's to be speaking up and saying yes and saying no. It's to be self-expressive. To own your power is to be grounded. It's to have good posture. It's to have self-worth and self-belief. To own your voice is your self-expression. Learn to love the sound of your voice. Have you ever heard your voice in a recording who cringes at that? Love the sound of your voice anyway. Learn to love the sound of your voice, even when others are criticizing you and telling you your voice is too loud or too soft, or when they don't want to hear your voice at all. Listen to that little voice inside of your head that tells you to speak up. Be heard. Give yourself permission to be expressive. Own your voice. When you own your voice and you own your power, you have control over your anxieties. What that means is when you learn to have control over the way you think and feel about your voice and your presence, you get to have control over how you feel about your emotions. So how do you own your power and how do you own your voice? And you've heard some of these instructions and lessons and tools and tactics today anyway. So I'm just reinforcing what's really important. To own your voice, you need to have clear airways, you need to be able to breathe, and you need to be able to keep your lungs really well inflated. Breathe properly. And the reason for that is you need air forcing over your vocal cords to produce the sound of your voice anyway. So clear vocal expression requires you to have good airways. Have you ever tried to talk when you've had a head cold and your nose is all snotty and you can't breathe, and how exhausting it is to talk? So it's really important you have clear airways. Use all of your mouth to speak. So if you happen to be a little bit of a mumbler, maybe just learn to use the muscles of your mouth, fully express your words, use your teeth, your lips, your tongue, all of it, and fully pronounce your words. When you own your power, you want to stand strong, stand tall, stand upright. Tuck your tail in, pull your tummy in, pull your shoulders back. Have good posture. And have your hands loosely clenched beside you. Because a good posture and a good stance helps to build that sense of your own confidence. So when you own your voice and you own your power, there's another little lesson to take in amongst all of that. And let's actually do the little breathing exercise, a little bit similar to the previous speaker. Is what you need to do is just breathe in. And what we'll do is we'll breathe in to the count of 4, we'll do a hold, and then we'll release. It just helps you to feel more centered. So I'm going to breathe in to the count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and hold, 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 and then release it slowly. But when you're releasing it, what I want you to do is force all the air out of your lungs. Force it all out, force it all out. And then you'll just naturally inhale. As I may have mentioned, when you're in control of your breathing, when you're aware of how much air you draw into your lungs, you get to notice whether you are a chest or shallow breather, or whether you're a deep belly breather. When you're aware of your breathing, you do get to control your anxieties and your fears. When you're aware of how deeply you're breathing, you get to control your thoughts, which allows you to be more centered, more grounded, and more self-aware. So when you own your voice and you own your power, you get to project or control how you project your presence. When you're aware of your fears and you're being fearless, it means being aware of your fears, and it means you can control the way you project that presence and project confidence and courage. So when you own your voice, the lessons that I'm going to share with you is that you have control over your voice, you project your voice clearly using your airways. You love the sound of your voice, and you're not afraid to speak up. When you own your power, You're grounded in your strength. You're proud of your power. You make an assertive stance. And you have good posture so that you're standing upright and you hold firm. Because posture is not just how you hold your body, it's also how you own your voice. So the 3 takeaways that I'd like to share with you. Firstly, number 1, own your voice. So use your airways, project your voice. Don't be afraid to speak up. Own your power. Have good posture. Stand upright, be grounded, and be convinced of your presence when you command attention. And lastly, use your fears as your fuel. Because you're not without fears, but you are, without hesitation, a force to be reckoned with. You are fearless. My name is Terri Mitchell. I am Terrium. I am forged, not born. Thank you.